Due to the single fact that there is one female for every 9 male users editing Wikipedia, the male perspective tends to prevail. This is a huge gender gap that inevitably affects the quantity and quality of the articles. Only 16% of the biographies are of women. In books about history of architecture, the presence of women is very limited. In the most prestigious dictionaries, just 1% of the voices refer to female architects or a firm where women architects worked. The rest, 99%, is dedicated to male architects. Wikipedia reproduces the gender stereotypes present in academic texts. The invisibility of the women's work and the lack of recognition of their contributions has been constant throughout history, not only in architecture. In this case, it's not because women don't work as architects, but because they've been systematically ignored by historians and critics. These absences distort the history of architecture. This invisibility is not always involuntary or unconscious. Recently in 2014, the BBC of London, using Photoshop, deleted the image of architect Paddy Hopkins from the photograph that they published to promote British television series The Brits Who Built the Modern World. Wikipedia is much better than architecture books. 2% of the biographies of architects are about women. Nevertheless, the biographies of the most prominent female architects are absent. Their articles are much shorter, the traces of female architects have been erased, and their contributions are attributed to their male partners. The contributions of women are not only attributed to their male partners in Wikipedia, but also in Wikicommons. The authorship of most of the images that we have to illustrate the architects' articles do not identify the women as authors. They do not identify them as authors of their own projects. The works appeared exclusively as designed by men, even in well-known cases in which the women are designers. For example, the Guild House, considered to be one of the earliest expressions of postmodern architecture, is attributed only to Robert Venturi, an American architect, but not to his wife and partner, Denise Scott Brown, with whom Venturi has worked since 1969. She was excluded from the Pritzker Prize, in which he was awarded in 1991. In protest, she did not attend the award ceremony. She wrote a very interesting essay, Room at the Top? Sexism and the Star System in Architecture. Crosstown Community, her work, was attributed to her husband. When Prager published a series of interviews, her name was omitted. She complained, and then they had to add her name, although objecting that this would spoil the cover design. In 2016, she was awarded with the American Institute of Architects Gold Medal, but Wikipedia continued to ignore her work. We created the Wiki project Women in Architecture, which aims to promote the participation of women in Wikipedia and hopes to address the systematic bias regarding the presence of women in architecture. We organize talks, editathons, workshops, and editing challenges. We decided to make visible the work of women in the history of architecture. Our aim is to improve the quality and coverage of the biographies of female architects writing from a gender perspective. We create categories, tutorials, learning patterns, we add text, sources, upload images, and we teach women how to edit. In 2015, we decided to participate in the Meetup Women in Architecture campaign. We organized with the blog Un Día, Un Arquitecta 3 simultaneous editathons, one in Spain, another one in Uruguay, and another in Argentina, the 3 of them at the same time. Argentina was in 2015 at the National University of Córdoba City with male and female students of architecture and their professors. We organized it in collaboration with the Universidad Politécnica de Valencia in Spain and Wikimania Uruguay in Montevideo. We created the category Women Architect. The result of these 3 editathons was that we increased the presence of women architect in Wikipedia in Spanish to 5%. Buenos Aires, Montevideo, and Valencia were working together. The working group was expanded, and in October 2016, we repeated the experience. Our second editathon in Argentina was at the Universidad de Buenos Aires in 2016. Men represent half of humanity. We wanted to bring the other half back from oblivion. We used Wikidata, and we wrote a list of almost 1,600 relevant female architects that are missing in Wikipedia in many languages. Again, Buenos Aires, Montevideo, and Valencia, Argentina, Uruguay, and Spain were working together at the same time. This time, the result was that we reached 8% of female architect biographies, surpassing the mean of women architects in the global Wikipedia. As women, we are convinced that it is essential to have a good support network. The third time in 2017, we traveled to the University of Rosario. This time, we reached 10.4%. The Wiki Project Women in Architecture is a space where women can feel free to ask questions, make mistakes, have doubts, and learn to edit without feeling overwhelmed by advice, criticism, or aggressive explanations in male-dominated discussions. We want to support new female editors who approach us or who may be learning how to edit. We are proud of our working group and our achievements, many new female editors and an increase of 2 to 10% in a year and a half. We hope to continue working.